So, good morning, everybody. It is Janet Hickox and Jason Livanis, and he's all decked out in his finery this morning. And we're here today to talk to you about our weekly promo video for his radio show, Titillating with Jason Livanis on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast, and about what's coming up on my show, Living Astrology, which airs on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast. So, Jason.
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde is blanking me over and over and over.
Let me play bad cop. Fucking you with no lube? Talk to me.
Yeah. So, Terry goes in for a blood test this morning. And they tell him, we're sorry, you haven't fulfilled your deductible. And so we can't do this test unless you want to pay us $165.63. Well, Terry's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I was in the hospital in February. The deductible's already fulfilled. And they're like, well, sorry, Charlie. If you want to write us a check for the $165, we'll take you. So
it's the 63 cents that pisses me off personally, but go ahead.
Yeah, of course, really. So then he calls me and I get all up on my high horse and I call my insurance company. I go, what do you mean telling them that we haven't completed the deductible? And she's like, oh, I'm very sorry because it's very clear. Not only have you completed the deductible, but you've also completed the total out-of-pocket expense for you for the year. And so if you'd like me to, I will call them and talk to them. And I said, I would appreciate that. As soon, no lie, Jason, I hung up the phone, which I don't even hang up. I press a button.
No, but I like that old school Betty Davis you just gave me. Go ahead.
I press the button and I look up and I go, oh my God, I have an invoice sitting on my desk right in front of me, begging for payment on lab tests that were done before the deductible was fulfilled. So I pull it out and I look at it, $165.63. And I'm like, okay. So the LabCorp people who were going to do the test tell him the total and complete wrong information. Now I've taken that information and given it to the insurance company, who's now calling LabCorp going, are you guys idiots? These people are already taken care of. So she calls me back in like 5 minutes and I pick up the phone. I go, hi, Stephanie. I already figured it out. She starts cracking up and I said, I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for wanting to intervene on my behalf. So anyway, I think sometimes Mercury retrograde can make monkeys of us all.
And where is it retrograding in? I forgot. I'm a bad astrologist. Sorry.
From Taurus backwards to Aries.
In what house?
In my chart?
Yeah, I always think that there's a global entity sort of house, like.
No. It would be in my personal chart, and Aries in my personal chart is up at the 10th house. So literally how I interact with the outer world, mostly career-wise and profession-wise, but it was just too funny. I just had to share. And that with a piece of missing mail. Yesterday, I get this letter from the hospital about, the balance that we owe from his hospital visit. And I had sent him a bunch of paperwork so that we could get our balance adjusted. And it got lost in the mail. So they're telling me that our thing was denied because we didn't send in the paperwork. I go, look, I left this girl a message. I not only did all the work you asked me to do, I sent you all the copies of everything that you needed, including my tax information and my business information and Terry's pay stubs. And I put it in the envelope that you provided me with your name stamped in big black letters on it.
Yeah.
And she still hasn't called me back to tell me. But interestingly enough, the weekend before I mailed this, we had mail theft going on our street. Someone was rifling through everybody's mailboxes.
You live.
And I live on an island in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nobody should be rifling through anything, but it had happened. So I had been watching the mailbox that day because I put important information in that mailbox and I didn't want it stolen. So I was watching for the postman to come because we're rural, right? So we have this box we have to go out to. They don't deliver it to our doors.
Right.
So I was waiting for her to come pick up the mail, and I saw her pick up the mail. So I know it went. But, Mercury again, making monkeys of all of us.
I don't have any tales of woe yet for you.
Yeah. It's
It started going retrograde, what, yesterday?
April 9th.
Oh.
So, of course, we were in retrograde shadow, before that.
Yeah.
And I know that, right? I do know this, but every time it gets me in some way, shape, or form. And this one isn't like horrible. This is just annoying, and me having to do things over again. And, maybe on the unseen realm, maybe I forgot something. And so it's giving me a chance to redo it, or I don't know. But
this is just a thought, and you may want to jot it down. And for all of you, yes, I'm giving up personal information, but I know you're looking to do a move, Janet, soon. Please make sure that the Mercury retrograde is not happening during that period.
No, it won't be.
Okay.
It won't be.
Good.
All right, so let's get to the reason for our visit today. So, Jason, you had a really awesome show the other night with your guest, Rita Morgan, who was on to talk to us about death and dying and, transformational type energies. And so in this week's show, are you carrying on that theme? Because I don't know that we really talked much about the death card.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, I was so pleased and so honored to have her on. And I was kind of going into it like, dreading it a little bit. Number one, because it was my first interview. But number two, it's a heavy subject. It isn't shits and giggles. It isn't like, hey,
that's a lighthearted little subject thing.
Although, interestingly enough, for all the viewers out there, and I said it on the show, I grew up with a wonderful Asian woman who taught me the feng shui.
Mm-hmm.
And she would remark about death, and she'd look at all of these round eyes, and she couldn't understand why these round eyes.
Whoa! What do you mean round eyes?
Not Chinese. She was Chinese. So she would be looking at all these round eyes who would be going through Sturm und Drang over a death, always with this, this look, and I would be like, yen yen, which is Chinese for grandma, yen yen. Why do you look like this? She goes, yeah, all you round eyes have it fucked up. In where I'm from, we mourn when you are born. We cry because we know how hard life is. Life is pain, the whole Buddha thing. She said, and when you die, when you get released from this miserable thing, we celebrate.
You do that so well. Celebrate.
Oh my God, I grew up in Chinatown on the weekends most all of my life. So it's interesting, their culture, they celebrate the death. They celebrate the entity. And they mourn when the child is born, which I think is interesting. A lot of coincidences. It's Easter weekend. The death card came up, which is all about renewal.
Right.
Shedding ego and shedding the bullshit so that your spirit can become well-tempered, as it were. But, Janet, the exciting thing about it is that this coming week, which will be what the hell date is it, since you have all your calendars?
It will be the 19th.
The 19th, I am doing episode 2 of Death, and whereby I'll be doing the usual show of giving the free mini readings, plus giving the information behind. Get ready, folks. It's coming at you. She's switching screens. I can feel it happening. Oh, my God. And yeah, okay. The death card. It's interesting. You look at it, Janet. Can you see it clear enough, or should I bring it all the way in?
No, it's beautiful right there.
Okay, so it is the death card. You see in the foreground these skulls. It represents the entities of people who have gone before you in your bloodline that you should call on during these difficult times. Then you see him, this is like a Kali, the god of destruction, figure there with his beautiful little peeper. I don't know if you can see peeper. Yes, give it to me, peeper. And he's in the mouth of basically the Kundalini snake, the creation of all that is. And you see there are different gods up above him, but the one incredible thing is that it's fiery and scary, and it's meant to be threatening because learning is scary, and that's what this is about. It costs us. Every time we want to learn something, it costs us. It costs you relinquishing either a belief that you have, or it means that you really have to put an effort when you are changing.
Or relinquishing ignorance.
Yeah. And so this card is meant to be scary because doing this kind of work, this kind of mental, physical, emotional work, it's fucking scary. And out of the center, I'm going to go in tight. You see, at the center of this being, you see a mouth, right?
Yep.
And it's probably hard for you to tell. I don't have my wand of love, but right here, there is
a white dove
springing forth from this mouth, from the gut, from the solar plexus. That's the dove of the spirit, of the perfect, actualized human spirit who is evolving. And yes, so this is going to be episode 2, where I talk a lot more about that. And the fact that it finishes another cycle. 0 through 7, remember?
Yep.
The chariot was the first. Now we're finishing the second cycle up, which is interesting. That's what's happening for this coming week. But by the by, I'm having a part 3.
Most likely necessary, right? Because you go into such great depth of these cards.
Not so much as I got turned on by what Rita said to me, which is, Jason, I know that you run metaphysically, so I'd like to share something with you that we didn't get into. And I thought, sure. She said, in my time of doing grief and loss and bereavement counseling, she said, I have heard some of the most incredible stories from the beyond.
Oh, I would love to hear them.
Entities from the beyond who have passed over, and they were just kind of like, shit, I need to let this human, this living person, in a very concrete way, know that I am here. I'm with you. That I'm also now graduating to a different place. I have personally one of my own, which is pretty wow. And she said she had 4 or 5. So I think I will be calling it episode
Death Story 3.
Messages from Beyond, Death Card,
Yeah, I think that's great. I love hearing it's, and frankly, the listeners love hearing stories like that too. I mean, I hear all the time, like we've had Tracy Lockwood, the medium, on, and people love her stories that she has from working with people from beyond. So I'm sure Rita and your own story will be something that people, will really want to hear.
I'm actually going to be on Tracy's show somewhat soon, like a month or 2. I have no fucking idea what I'm going to be talking about. But
Tarot cards, perhaps?
Maybe. Or maybe some feng shui. I might go into the feng shui aspect a little bit more.
Very nice. Very nice.
So that's basically it, folks. This coming week, I've got my breakdown on the card. Week after, we're going to talk about Tales from Beyond. All of you out there who do or do not know are stepping onto this video for the first time, please visit Janet at living-astrology.com. I was going to say Astrology Zone.
I'm not Susan Miller.
No, you're not. Thank God. You wear the right base makeup. Sorry. Bitchy 101, can I help you? At www.living-astrology.com. You can contact her through there, or Janet at living-astrology.com. You can get yourself, hi, Michelle!
Michelle ended up in the video.
Oh my God, look at that beautiful face.
Yeah, her pretty face. She's here to help me film the rest of my, the rest of my course that I'm creating. Mm-hmm.
And for all of you that do not know, Janet is creating a course on
human design, an introduction to human design.
I'm one of her guinea pigs.
Pardon me?
I'm one of your guinea pigs.
Yes, Jason is one of my guinea pigs.
So that's me. We have Tales from the Crypt after that. And so what is happening on when are we bringing back our bare naked ladies?
Probably not until the following week. And that would be because this coming week, we are going to be talking with Catherine Silverton. She's an astrologer that contacted me, had heard the show, and she's technically a medical astrologer. And I have wanted a medical astrologer to come on the show for a long time, because it's sort of, I mean, even though I have the information about like what sign is what part of the body and what planet rules what part of the body, putting all of that together sometimes is a little tricky. And she has the knowledge, and that's what she is going to be coming on the show to talk to us about, is medical astrology. So we want our listeners who have questions about their health and or questions about what's going on in their bodies to call into the show. But I have one little caveat, and that is this. We are not substituting any of your doctor's information here. We are just adding some, pieces of information for you to use in your own life and as knowledge, right? We are not substituting any advice from your doctor, so that I want you to know ahead of time. However, please call in if you have questions around what's going on in your health, because she's going to be the one that's going to be able to help us answer those questions. Now, if there are a ton of people that call, we may have to put a second show where she can actually do some work that way. I'm sure she will also be offering up the possibility for readings specific to medical astrology. So tune in to that show on this coming Thursday, April 20th at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast time. The following week, and by the way, if you guys missed yesterday's show, please tune into the replay, or I may actually put this on YouTube as a video, because I thought it was a very fascinating show. And I hope everybody else that was listening thought so too. But we were talking all about Ceres and Pluto and the relationship these two have. And to me, it was a really fascinating conversation, one that we did not finish. So the following week, April 27th, we will be completing the Ceres and Pluto conversation. And then I can also finish our Bare Naked Ladies Naked Astrology piece that we were doing in introducing what and where astrology came from. So,
interestingly enough, if anybody had tuned into the last Bare Naked Ladies, they would have heard you expound on this tight relationship between, and I think you said the genesis was ancient Greece, could be wrong, where astrology and health married.
Yeah, not astrology and health and all of the meteorology and sort of even social direction on, who was going to be the king or the queen. That kind of stuff was all sort of wrapped into astrology from our ancient times. And indeed, going further back than the ancient Greeks, way back to Egyptian times, and possibly even as far back as the Babylonians. And I guarantee you it went back further into civilizations that predate Egypt and the Babylonians. But, I can't prove that. But I can say it. So anyway,
Lemuria and all of those places,
Atlantis and Lemuria and anybody else that was out there before. And so that's the radio shows for the upcoming week. And Jason and I will be back again next week with an update on what's coming up in the shows. And watch for our weekly Human Design update here as well in the next couple of days. The Human Design Week actually begins on Sunday, Easter Sunday. So we'll probably get that out on Saturday for you all. In the meantime, everybody have a happy Easter. Jason, I don't know if you're doing anything fun, but if you are, have a happy Easter. Aha, nice little chickadee.
This is technically not my Easter. This is all of you people who follow the wrong calendar. We cannot have Jesus dying before Passover. So we wait until the Jews do their thing, and then we do our thing. But the fact of the matter is my Easter isn't for yet another period of time. However, I celebrate both. I'm like that Jew on Christmas. I get to celebrate everything.
I really believe that somehow the Bible's got it mixed up, that I believe that Christ actually died at the Christmas time and was actually born in the spring and at Easter. So we have these things backwards, and I think that's because they were overwriting the pagan holidays. And in order to sort of stamp out paganism, they had to really change things and get people into a new rote. And they didn't care if it was correct or not. So whatever. Again.
What can I tell you? I have to let my Jewish friends make mit the latkes and make mit the herring. You know what I'm saying? They have to do that before we can do ours.
All right. I have
no idea.
What
it really equates to is what animal am I going to kill and roast? So that's just at the end of the day, as a carnivore, as a badass carnivore. So actually, we're making pernil for this holiday. I have some Latino friends. And then on Greek Easter, I'll be making lamb.
Well, sounds yummy.
Yay. So anyway, thank you, Janet, for this opportunity. And to everybody, I hope you all tune in.
All right. Take care, everyone.